stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop letting this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nigga gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop letting this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. I feel like I'm JX. J-Way. I'm a perfectionist. Adderall got me restless. I'm gone. Run with a wild crew, they get reckless. Young boy, come up off that neck. Give me that. To the trends. See you, Lee, be the best.
Welcome to Bleachers and Speakers. I'm your host, June. And before I introduce my co-host and friends here, I want to remind everyone to subscribe to Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube and follow us on the aggregators for your audio fixes. Just check us out. Just put in Bleachers and Speakers FFSN in your search. Make sure that notification bell is on. So when we drop content, you'll get an alert. And please download those episodes. I'm going to introduce our panel. This is the Who Will Be King show. We are all officially in the off season. Never fear. There's a lot to talk about. We have a lot to talk about this off season. We'll start off with introducing everyone, and I'll let you tell them where they can find you, what you got going on. We'll start with Pay.
How you going, fellas?
What's up?
Yeah. It's fancy meeting you guys here at the off-season table. Yeah, so we're gonna talk about I guess whatever's going on in the offseason with those Chicago Bears, right? And those Detroit Lions. I wonder what they got going, hanging out right now. So I'm Pay. I cover the Bears for the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel, found anywhere on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and anywhere else you listen to podcasts. Check it out. We got a lot to talk about. Maybe you've heard.
Dave.
Hey, I'm Dave from Vikings First and Skull. You can find us on YouTube, all your podcast aggregators, and over on Writing with our partners, Fans First Sports Network. We do a whole lot of stuff talking about the Minnesota Vikings, and in this case, today's show, Who Will Be King, we talk about the NFC North and how the Detroit Lions joined us in the offseason.
The man, the myth, B. Foster.
B. Foster, one half of Bleachers the Speaker, and the weather in Cancun is mighty fine.
You're not in Cancun. Don't do that.
We're all on vacation now. We're certainly not in the playoffs anymore. So.
You know what? Speak for yourself. My team is working.
You guys are taking the leftovers, but it's -5. You can't make Cancun references today. It's just a tease. Pay. I'm going to let you lead today. You have this smile and this aura and this energy, and it's always good energy. But today, tell us what's on your mind. What is going on with the Chicago Bears?
First and foremost, I want to say shout out to Jaden Daniels and Eddie George for getting this show started, getting this thing kicked off in the right direction. In case you haven't heard, the Detroit Lions season ended, and 48 hours later, the Bears had themselves a new head coach. Offensive coordinator guru Ben Johnson is now in the building. Probably the biggest offseason news for a Chicago team since the Bulls got the number 1 pick in the 2007-8 draft. Probably that, whichever draft that was when they got Derrick Rose. We are ecstatic, June. I mean, I could tell you left, right, and up and down how we're, what we think about it. But I think the proper thing, since you are hosting it, this is a Bleachers to Speakers, a production. How does this affect the Lions moving forward?
Well, you hate to lose an offensive coordinator like Ben Johnson. However, with the pieces just my opinion, with the pieces we have in place, I don't think it'll be too difficult to find someone to replace him as offensive coordinators. We have some very, very good. First of all, we have a good offensive line. We start off in the trenches.
Great.
We have a great offensive line. We have two good, very good running backs. We have an all-pro wide receiver. We have a young rookie tight end that's good. And then we have J-Mo on the outside. I don't think it'll be a problem replacing him. I mean, it is what it is. So I just think that, when you get a good coordinator, you're going to lose them. It's just what it is. That's the nature of a business. If you're keeping your coordinator for so long, something's not right. Just something's, because the opportunities for a good coordinator are there every season. And if you don't have a good coordinator, they're not going to get those opportunities. Me personally, I'd rather have a good coordinator and just change them whenever they leave, because that means they're doing something right. So,
you're right. You're absolutely correct. And you was running off where all those positions where you're elite at on offense. Cannot wait until the Bears have all those elite positions on offense as well. Oh my goodness. You said
hold on. Wait. Let's stop. Let's work on that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it.
I mean, the reality is this: it's all null and void until they get offensive line. So unless Ben Johnson is going to line up and block for Caleb Williams, you're still at square one. But
no, we're not. No, we are not at square one.
I mean, you thought that about Caleb last year too.
Why is that not the case? Because that's what Ben Johnson needed in order to flourish, is the fact that he had Penei Sewell, Taylor Decker, Frank Ragnar. I mean,
yeah, some of those guys were there before he stepped on board. You're all the way correct. But square one is the status quo. We're the same as we were 72 hours a week ago. We're not. The gap between the Bears and the rest of the division has shrunk just with that hire.
Oh no!
I'll explain it to you. One, we did get the offensive coordinator from our division rival, the Detroit Lions,
an unproven head coach. Go ahead,
but a proven play caller, and he's going to come to the Bears and call plays. Somebody who's 2 seasons in a row led the league in scoring. 2 seasons in a row, 3 seasons in a row, dominated the defenses in this division. Now he's the head coach for the Bears. Now he's calling plays for the Bears. A guy who knows how to identify talent in the draft. And so he's going to move Mr. Brian Poles out the way. You're not going to be making decisions by yourself. I got some input on that. That is an upgrade for us. So, in addition to us taking the offensive coordinator from the Detroit Lions, there's going to be another coordinator you're going to lose as well, as with other coaches. And I'll let you and B. Falls to talk about those other coaches, later on. The Minnesota Vikings, they have a quarterback conundrum on their hands. They got that going on. The Packers, we're already better than the Packers, so we ain't got to worry about that. So I will staunchly disagree that this is still square one. No, we've moved into we've made an improvement just by hiring the guy who's going to run the on-field product.
But there's problems deeper than your head coach. That's all I'm saying.
The deeper problem was the culture. The head coach starts the culture. There you go.
And so Ben Johnson has been proven to change the culture of an entire team because he can call good offensive plays.
No, that's not why the culture would change with Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson is a guy who's known to call you out on your shit. Excuse my French. And people respond to somebody who's actually done it, right? Eberflus didn't win any rooms. Shane Waldron talked from the back of the room when he was talking to his offensive guy. People don't respond to that. If you listen to Bears players all last season, they were saying out their mouth verbatim that we want somebody to hold us accountable. What kind of grown man says we want somebody to hold us accountable? Well, that doesn't even make sense.
Shouldn't have to say that.
It shouldn't have to say that. If you know that someone needs to be holding you accountable, why don't you start holding yourself accountable? That's the type of stuff that we got to eradicate from the squad, and bringing a guy in who is proven to have done it before, walk the walk, and will talk the talk from another team. Everybody's a fan of what he puts on the board, what he puts out there on SportsCenter and everything else. Everybody knows his name. he's at least on day one has buy-in, and that is a culture starter.
Then why am I seeing headlines like everybody is saying Bears coach Ben Johnson gives Adam Gase vibes?
Yeah, I don't think you're seeing those headlines. You see a headline, maybe somewhere in the doldrums of Reddit that you're getting that from. No, Adam Gase, which is bad. Adam Gase is actually better hire than Matt Nagy than what we had, but no. Ben Johnson's the real deal. He was the belle of the ball for 2 off seasons running, and he got the job that he wanted, Chicago, and now it's here.
Actually, it's from Sports Illustrated, Chicago Bears.
Yeah, well, we all know Sports Illustrated is AI writes those, so we're not gonna. AI, Sports Illustrated doesn't pay writers anymore.
Quoted in it.
Hey, Broski Bear he is wilding in the comments.
He's probably a girl in disguise. Anyway, I'm happy for you. I mean, there's no energy like Pay. I mean, even when things aren't going right, Pay brings energy to this show, and I'm happy that he's happy. And I think Ben Johnson was a great coordinator, and it's just left. It's just you never know. You never know. Just like we don't know if we'll get an offensive coordinator that'll be good. We just don't know. It just all I have to say is for the Bears is if they were a little bit tougher in the trenches, it'd be a different team than going this past season. That was the only thing that was missing is the offensive line. Ben Johnson saw those toys over there. Yeah, Ben Johnson, and I said the trenches. Ben Johnson saw those toys over there. Caleb, DJ Moore, Swift, your tight end, the other wide receiver, and he was like, "Okay, I got something to work with." And we all said that all season that there was just some missing pieces for the Bears, and we thought that was up front. So the offense is gonna run. The offense is gonna run. But it's a lot more than entails with the head coach. But I'm glad you feel that you got the man that you needed. I'm happy for you, bro. There's nobody bitter on here. Broski Bear. He's saying all these wild stuff in the comments, man. He just get over it, man. You're okay.
Well, can we back up a little bit? I want to back up a little bit. What caused you guys to lose not only your offensive coordinator, and I'm talking about the Lions, and the defensive coordinator, and the defensive line coach? What happened last weekend? Foster, why did you guys get your asses whooped by a rookie quarterback and the Commanders?
Oh, you couldn't wait to say that, could you?
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, that's how it went down. That's the way I saw it.
And we're a support group, man. We've been doing the show.
We did not ask why did they get their asses whooped by Stafford, though. That's crazy. Like your team gets your ass whooped by a lesser team. Mm-hmm. And you get on the show and ask us this? Okay,
I'm just asking a question. I gave you the rundown on why we lost last week.
The humble June is gone.
I gave you the rundown.
Hey, now we sound bitter.
It came down to the same thing. Sam Darnold holding on to the ball.
Oh, it's definitely up. Go ahead, Foster. Answer the question.
Yeah. No. Jared Goff was definitely severely outplayed by Jaden Daniels. He was definitely an X factor. He pretty much controlled the game. Every play that needed to be made, he made. That run pass option that they displayed made it difficult for us to defend anybody. I mean, even when the ball was going to the running back, there was always a risk that he might hold on to it and run to the outside himself. And even on the long pass play they had to McLaurin, I want to say that was a run pass option as well. So at all times, the team had to be aware of what he had going on. Obviously, we had some inopportune errors by the defense 12 men on the field. We failed to call timeout. Terrion Arnold didn't hold his edge on one of the runs by Daniels. But ultimately, I really feel like the offense is who let us down when it's all said and done, more so than the defense, which is more of who we're concerned about. And, Goff had some bad turnovers. Ben Johnson called an end around. He called an amazing end around on the play to Jameson Williams when Goff actually got hurt. Which, him getting injured on that interception, which was on him, that injury may have ultimately affected the way he played moving forward. But yeah, that end around play to Jameson Williams where he threw that interception, that was definitely an ill-advised play call. You put one of the more impulsive and you put a receiver in a position to have to be responsible and do what a quarterback is supposed to do, and it just doesn't work. And I feel like the timing was off. But you live and die by some of the wild play calls that Ben Johnson has called throughout his career, and it ultimately burned us this time around. So Goff was definitely outplayed by the rookie quarterback. He wasn't fazed at all by the environment, and
weirdo.
We lost.
And those weird play calls are coming to Chicago.
Yeah.
Whoa. Hey, come on.
Hey, I've got a coach that does them every once in a while too. So
we don't. The Bears don't have the wide receivers that can throw the ball. So I think
we don't either.
Does Jameson, can he throw the ball? I don't know. I don't know if he saw that.
He's done it before. Keenan Allen, have you seen that last pass that he had again? I think it was the Packers, and he threw that. No, that's out of our bag.
We saw St. Brown. Well, it's in your bag. It's in your bag now, whether you like it or not. But we saw St. Brown throw a touchdown pass to Goff. But I don't know if we saw. Maybe we did. Maybe J-Mo did complete a pass.
They had Penny Sewell trying to throw a pass on
St. Brown can.
Your wide receivers are going to throw them too. If we had Penny Sewell trying to do it, y'all nice.
Montgomery had a good one too. I don't know. It just didn't work. I can't even say the timing is bad because sometimes the idea is for it to not be on schedule with what you would expect. So, but yeah.
I want my Lions fan in the chat to look at Broski Bears comments and just attack. Just attack. Just take it. Get him out of here, Detroit. Just. I'd have deleted some of them comments, but he's your guest pay. That some of that stuff is just outlandish. The BJ stuff was just crazy. Come on, bro.
Bear down.
Yeah, I guess.
Now, anyway, from an outsider's point of view, it was the turnovers that killed you guys.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Four by Goff and then the fifth.
Absolutely.
Killed you.
I think it was that. I think it was me and Foster, kind of debate this, but, I point fingers at the defense as well, and I'll give my reasons why.
For not knowing how to play the option?
Well, that too. But let's look at
it's normal for NFL
let's
players
look at it
not
all,
to know.
right? Let's look at it all, right? No sacks, no deflected passes. They scored 38 points. I'm not counting the pick six. The only incomplete passes that they had, they weren't batted down or passes deflected at all. These were just throws that were bad, and a lot of them were open. Also, we didn't force any turnovers. I think their fourth down completion ratio was absurd. I think we had 2 tackles for loss in the first quarter. That's it. And then you allowed runners like Robbins or whatever his name is and Eckler to have good games. And they're not a running football team. The defense did not show up.
But it got Aaron Glenn, your defensive coordinator, hired today by the New York Jets.
But we knew that we were going to lose both coordinators going into the season. We were amazed that Ben Johnson actually came back for this season. And we knew AG was not far behind. So for me, it was just like, it's not a surprise around here. We knew we were losing both coordinators during the season.
I think AG overall did a pretty good job. I mean, the personnel he had by the end of the year was kind of absurd.
I think he did a great job.
Yeah.
Especially
With
against
what he had, yes. And I think
after Vrabel came off the board, but Aaron Glenn was my number one desire to coach the Bears. So, I mean, just based on what you just said, his ability to coach up backups, and still get tremendous play out of them, and it just seemed like, again, leadership emanates off of him. It just seemed like he was a guy that can control the room. Not to say that being able to control the room and being good at the podium means he would be a good head coach, but again, the biggest thing the Bears needed to fix was malfeasance in the locker room, and that was the guy I wanted. So I'm credit to the Jets. They got a good guy. As long as they get rid of that quarterback, they'll have another good season.
Yeah. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Dave about them Vikings and see if they've done anything in the offseason. I don't know if it's early, but we'll talk about it.
Get your lick back. If a nugget gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nugget gon' do something, ain't no chit.
Okay, we are back. Dave, Minnesota Vikings have any moves out of your ball club there?
TCO. Yes. Yesterday it was announced Kevin O'Connell gets a multi-year extension. Big money. We'll see how much. We don't know, and we may never know because it's head coaches, but I suspect it's at least $14 million a year. And I suspect, with my educated opinion, it's probably going to run through the J.J. McCarthy rookie contract. So we'll see on that. But he did get extended. There was also news, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, our GM, is in negotiation right now, and it's on the way. Now, they supposedly agreed to the basics of the extension this last weekend. They waited till Ben Johnson was hired to see how much he was getting paid. $13 million for a rookie coach. Wow. And is probably going to make more than that. But Kevin O'Connell deserves it. He is the only coach in NFL history, well, there's 3 total, that have won 13 games or more in 2 of the first 3 seasons. He's the only one that has done it without a Hall of Fame quarterback, which is interesting. And we're all happy. All that's taken care of. Kwesi's going to be announced probably early next week. That'll be taken care of. All we're waiting on is to see, with the Jaguars just this afternoon firing their GM, if that changes the coaching search and whether Brian Flores gets another interview with whoever is going to be involved in the new coaching search for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, kind of feel sorry for the Jags, but hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Hey, when you got messed up GM and whole organization, they can get stupid sometimes, right, Pay?
Hey, Dave, you ain't gotta tell me about stupid decisions. Stupid is a stupid does sometimes. So happy for the Minnesota Vikings. They realized they got some winners there in Kados. Pronounce his name again.
Kwesi Adofo-Mensah.
Him. They got some winners in him and Kevin O'Connell. So keep the winners close.
Mm-hmm. Now, when it comes to quarterback discussion, it's pretty much all settled. JJ McCarthy is our QB1 for next season.
Oh, wow.
I severely doubt Sam Darnold comes back.
That's a tough decision.
Nah, piece of cake.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Piece of cake. JJ McCarthy played where, Foster?
Michigan.
That's right. At Michigan, does not melt under pressure.
Okay.
He's won lost 3 games his entire life?
Ooh, didn't they say that? They said the same thing about Trevor Lawrence too before he got to the NFL, right?
Well, that's true. Now the NFL's a different story, but
yeah,
he won a natty. He's up there. I have my full faith in JJ McCarthy. It may be misplaced, but it's the most faith I've had in a quarterback since Fran Tarkington when I was a kid.
That's
for this organization.
Wait a second, Dad.
That's a lot.
Wait. Randall Cunningham.
Brandon.
Was great.
Brad Johnson.
Brad Johnson, when he was on, was great. I know we've had some great quarterbacks. You've named 2. Brett Favre in the 2009 magical season, and I was so hot and heavy not to have him, and then he turned that around.
Gross.
But it's just, this will be our first homegrown one, and it's the first one, I've talked about with the it factor in a long, long time. And I know people give me grief. Dave, how can you measure the it factor? Can you find that stat somewhere? Is it on some advanced analytics?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's leadership. It's how a person, gathers the team around him, how they respond to him, how he performs under fire. And so far, from everything I've seen, watched, analyzed, going in the last year, JJ McCarthy is the guy. And then in the preseason, offseason and preseason, there was a fight. He may have been the week 1 starter this last year, but he tore his meniscus, and we'll never know. But I do believe Sam Darnold, in the last 2 games we played, first against Detroit and then second against the Rams, shot himself in the foot for
I think he ruined his money.
Oh, it ruined his money by tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
But he's still going to probably make around 40.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
That's still a lot of money, but I was thinking it was going to be 50, 60 if he'd have been more successful in the playoffs. And that's what I mean by ruin his money. Dave, what do you think? Like, this is you're in the culture that payday was looking a lot more than 40.
He was 55-ish is what I was hearing.
Yeah. He ruins it cost him some millions.
And now he'll probably make around 40, but the Vikings won't offer him that. They may say, yeah, if you want to come back, we'll give you 20. And he'll say, no, I'll go to Oakland. I'll go to wherever. The quarterback market is, way too much demand for supply. He's going to make it.
Dave, has there been any implications of coordinators for I've heard there's more as far as Ben Johnson that he's bringing with him from Detroit as far as coordinators, but have you heard anything?
The only ones I've heard for you guys is your defensive line
pay.
coach.
I'm sorry. I meant to say pay. I'm sorry.
So as far as coordinators, the rumor has it that Ben Johnson has been he's been spending the last couple of weeks putting together a crack staff of professionals and stars to fill out his coaching staff wherever he took this coaching job at. And we all know that Chicago was his number 1 choice. And the rumor is that Dennis Allen is pegged, no Diddy, to be the defensive coordinator under Ben Johnson. Now that would be if Ben Johnson's a home run, getting Dennis Allen to run your defense, that's a triple, maybe an inside the park.
I got you. We'll see how it pans out. I mean, all pans out. It's a lot of coaching moves and stuff that's going on within this division, just including our two teams. But we'll see. It's a lot of moving parts. It's very interesting.
This is
Foster,
it's very interesting. You're right.
have you heard of any replacements for the Detroit Lions as far as candidates for the offensive and defensive coordinator?
Sure. Yeah. Well, defensively, it's on the defensive side of the ball. I'm hearing a lot of Robert Saleh. Is his name Robert?
Former Jets coach.
Yeah,
Rob
former
Saleh.
Jets coach. He's from Dearborn Heights, or Dearborn, which is literally a hop, skip, and a jump from the city of Detroit. So he's a local guy, and I want to say he had a pretty successful career in San Francisco as a defensive coordinator, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, he was a dog with the DC with the Niners.
So yeah, I'm not opposed to that. I feel like him and Dan Campbell would mix very well. So yeah, I'm not opposed to that. I think we're losing our defensive lineman coach. I think he's about to be a defensive coordinator or some
for Coach Vrabel in New England.
Mm-hmm.
In New England, yeah. So it looks like we're not going to be advancing folks from within the organization. I know there's still Antoine Randall is still maybe an option as far as the offensive coordinator. And is Mark Brunell still coach for us?
He's the quarterback coach.
He's the QB coach. So that's another option. I don't really know to what extent that they are qualified. I'm familiar with what they did on the field. So for what that's worth. So So other than that, I'm not really sure. I saw somebody talk about, hey, we know that Eberflus wasn't a great coach, but he was a good he was a good offensive coordinator.
Better not bring that stench over here. No,
yeah, that would be wild. That just
a coordinator swap. What is going on here?
Yeah, that would be interesting. But
we win that trade. We win that trade 10 out of 10.
But yeah, I don't think that just because you're a good coordinator that translates to being a good head coach. So it's still yet to be seen as far as the transition for Ben Johnson to head coach.
It's exciting. It's just when you're in need of a head coach and you get probably the hottest coordinator to be your head coach, it's exciting. So it's just I'm happy for Pay. I'm happy for Bears land. I just, hope they don't win. That's all. So, I mean, I'm a Lions. What am I want to
Except for when they play the Packers.
Oh, they can beat the Packers twice a year. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Bear down.
Don't start. Okay. All right. We have the rest of the playoffs. I know we're not Debbie Downers we've all, fell short this season, and
one and dones.
We're going to still enjoy the playoffs. Is there any you want to talk about these remaining games? It's the Final Four of the NFL that's going on right now. You got, you know what? This is something I wanted to ask you guys, right? With the current state of the playoffs, you have Philly and you have Washington, right? Mm-hmm. Same division. There's been a lot of discussion within my own personal circle of people that are saying they were truly the best division in football.
Obviously not record-wise, we were.
Now,
go on.
What we've been saying, our sentiments have been all year, that the NFC North is the best division in football, right?
Right.
Then at the end of the season, you have two of the NFC East playing for the Super Bowl. And you got their fans saying this was the best division in football. Hey, what do you have to say about that?
But what about the other two teams in the division?
The Cowboys.
Exactly. I get that, but I want to hear it from you guys.
So we all watch football, right? We're not just casuals. We're not just casuals about this. We actually have to create content around what we see. So we're watching with a little bit of We're watching with a little bit more than just a fan's eye, and that leads me to this question. Anybody seen the Giants play?
Yes.
Man, I couldn't even think of the other team. I knew the Cowboys. I'm like, what's the other team?
Giants.
Yeah.
Sexy Dexy.
We've
God, I
seen
wish
them
I
play.
had him.
The Giants, they had a quarterback. The quarterback they started the season with.
He's now on the Minnesota Vikings.
He's not on the Minnesota Vikings practice squad, right?
Yeah, he's on the practice squad.
So the practice squad QB for the Vikings in this division was the starting quarterback for a team in that division.
Preach.
Yep.
I got to call it here, Dad. You can't be the best division if one of the starting quarterbacks that you broke camp with.
I've been arguing.
It's only good enough to be practice squad in this division.
I've been arguing with these people for a week. Like you wouldn't believe. Dave, what's your take on it?
Oh, I agree with Pay on that one. And speaking of that practice squad quarterback, Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones. There's discussion. The plan is JJ McCarthy will start, and everybody's thinking Daniel Jones will come up and be the QB2 for around $10 million ish, same as Sam was this year. Well, I'm hearing word he may get a starting gig somewhere because the QB demand is so high and the supply is so low.
Wow.
He did win a playoff game, unfortunately, against us a couple years back. Got him in a big extension, but it's going to be interesting. But now to say that Dallas is a mess, the Giants are horrid, other than Sexy Dexy, and that defensive line is just outstanding. And then
something else.
That Washington, no. Now, Washington's got a lot of promise. I love me some Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
That kid has ice in his veins. We all watched it last week, and he's just as calm and cool, collected as could be. Doesn't get riled up for nothing. And when you're an option-style quarterback and you got 300-pound guys bearing down on you and you weigh $185 dripping wet, it's just, or look that way. He's amazing, and that's good for him. Now, Philly, we're going to see how they actually turn out. Their quarterback's hurt.
Is he out hurt or is he just
no. But he's limping along.
Okay.
And it obviously affected his throwing in the last game, but they pulled it out. So
it's not going to work this game, though. If they need him whole.
And will they get him there? Now, they're playing in Philadelphia. Washington should be fine with playing in Philadelphia. They do it, once a year. And they play the team twice a year. So I'm pulling for the Commanders.
Hopefully there's no snow, I hope it's dry conditions. It's going to be cold, of course, but I hope the conditions are just dry.
Why? What's wrong with snow?
I mean, I like
the snow globe look.
I don't want the weather to be a part of the outcome of the game.
Well, it's better the weather than the refs. When we get to the other game in Kansas City.
You got a point there. You're
right, Dave. I'd rather take weather, causing playing a factor into the game other than the refs. We already seen one. The weather played a factor over there in the AFC divisional between Baltimore and Buffalo. The refs would definitely loom large in the championship in that same conference.
So what do you think?
Wear helmets.
What do you think about that game, Kansas City and Buffalo? How do you see that game going, Dave?
I think this may be the year Buffalo pulls it out.
Yeah. Pay, what do you think?
I have no belief that Buffalo can beat Kansas City when it matters. We already said we know the refs are in the pocket of Big Pat Mahomes.
Well, that
And
was
they
obvious last week.
Oh my Jesus! Oh my goodness!
That flop on the sidelines alone.
And that's just one
give him
of
his
them.
Oscar.
And I don't necessarily believe that players, well, in sports, especially at this level, that people just know how to win. Their will overtakes other people's skill. Just the skill margins are way too thin for me to even start to believe you manifested this just because you wanted it more. But at some point, you just got to believe that the Chiefs just got something everybody else don't got. And it used to be Pat. It used to be, we've got this guy who's an assassin, an alien at quarterback, but he's come back to earth a lot bit rather the last 2 seasons. So it ain't that. It can't be that. They still find a way to just continue to collect dubs. So I don't know. You gotta show me. If I was to have to lay down some money on this, I'm taking Kansas City.
Foster.
Yeah, I mean, there's literally no reason to bet against the Chiefs. I mean, the Josh Allen, he's a great quarterback, and he's got Jackson. He's got Lamar Jackson's vote to get the dub this time around. But it seems like the Chiefs just have that edge, whatever that may be, to get over the top. So they'll be going for a three-peat, I believe, right?
Yep, that's the goal, 3-peat.
Yeah, that's wild.
I just think it's just time. I think it's Buffalo's time. Like, I was around when they was losing with Jim
4 in a row
with Jim Kelly, and I think it's time for them, and I think they have the pieces in place. Josh Allen and Kansas City, they win games though. They won tough games this year, and I think they're vulnerable this year. And they
lose players every season too.
Yeah,
because they get sniped, and they're how they pay certain groups, and besides Patrick Mahomes, they've lost weapons at wide receiver and etc. But they still turn out the wins. That's a testament to not only Patrick Mahomes but also Mr. Reed.
Yeah, for sure.
Coach
Andy Reid is a hell of a coach. Like, there's no taking away from that. Did we go over to Philly, Washington? Did you pick a winner for those?
I picked Washington. Yeah.
Hey, Washington.
Man,
Philly.
So Chocolate City Commandos, they ended both of our seasons. so it's kind of hard for me to ingratiate them with some type of good vibes. It's tough for me, but and I just don't think they're that good. I'm sorry, and this is not hate. This is not spoiled milk or anything like that. It matched up against Philadelphia. I know Jalen Hurts is kind of dinged up, but they still got Saquon, right? And I'm not saying that running backs they weigh that much into the the wins into the wins and losses, but Saquon's a different type of animal. If they got if they can just run Jalen Hurts out there at 50-60%, just the threat of him and Saquon together should be enough to keep the Commandos at bay. But hey, this Jalen Hurts kid, I'm not Jalen Hurts, but this Jaden Daniels kid he ain't messed up yet in the playoffs. So I mean, if he continues that streak, I might be wrong.
Yeah, I feel you. Foster.
Yeah, I mean, if you just simply go QB for QB, I definitely edge it to Daniels. And I don't want to feel like they just ran through us just to end it on a fluky, bad L to the Eagles. So I'd like to believe that they are as good as they made it look, as good as they make themselves look versus us. But it'll be different. I'd be hard pressed to say that I'm rooting for him. Like, go get him, Tiger. Like, yeah, no pun intended, because he went to LSU. But I think they have the edge as far as the QBs are concerned.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game. I just think the Commanders, if Jalen Hurts is not 100%, I think Commanders win. That's just what it is. That about do it for today's show.
I just want to say, if the Bills blow it this weekend, Vikings fans are here for you, for a shoulder to cry on. We understand what it means to be there.
Well, we'll see. We'll be back next week. Next Wednesday, you can catch us right here. Pay, you want to tell people what you got going on in the meantime, in between time, and where they can find you?
Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel has all you need to know about what the Bears are doing this offseason, how we feel about them hiring Ben Johnson as the head coach, who they're going to get for to fill out his staff. But however the news breaks, we'll be right there to tell you. You can find that out at YouTube at the same place, Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel. Also, on the audio side, at the same name, anywhere you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and all the rest. Can't miss it.
Dave.
Hey, we got a lot going on. Last night we had Sal Spice and her show. Tonight we have The Real Forno, and we are transitioning to basic offseason. We're doing a preview on the Reese's Senior Bowl, who to look for. The Vikings might want to. There's a few groups that we are going to be looking at: cornerback, defensive interior lineman, stuff like that. On top of that, we're going to announce that today, Kevin O'Connell was voted NFC Coach of the Year.
Well deserved.
Mm-hmm. But you can find us over on Vikings First and Skull. The show's at 6 p.m. Central. And later, it'll be on podcasts, on all your favorite aggregators. You can find us at Facebook. You can find us at Fans First Sports Network under the Vikings tab. And that's Vikings First and Skull.
B. Foster, what's going on with Bleachers to Speakers there, sir?
Oh, well, full court press on the Detroit Pistons. Hopefully they can make us out to something this year. But outside of that, the spring training is 30 days away. I think the first game starts in 30 days. So we should have plenty of there you go. So the Tigers should have plenty of to talk about. I don't know if we're doing anything else in free agency at this point. It seems like the Dodgers are just going to clean house and pick up everybody. So,
well, I'm going to remind everyone to subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube and follow us for your audio fix for your on all the aggregators. That's places that that Pay mentioned. YouTube Music, Spotify, stuff like that. Just follow us at Bleachers to Speakers, FFSN. Make sure you hit that notification bell so when we drop content, you'll get an alert. Download those episodes. We've had a great show. I wish we could talk about us winning, and I wish we could be talking about Detroit playing Minnesota for the Super Bowl, but unfortunately, fairy tales end. So, but we're still going to be together. We're still one happy NFC North Division family. You will see us in the offseason throughout. We don't stop. We do a show every week of the year. It doesn't matter whether football is going on or not. We will be here. And these guys here, these three gentlemen are my brothers in media. So you'll see us every week. And we will continue to, we'll hit that thumbs up button, hit the like button. Do all that good stuff, man. So subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube.
Get your lick.
You was about to say something, Dave?
Yeah, and we all three agree. FTP.
Yes.
We got to get a Packers. Look, if you know a Packers representative, send them to me, Pay, or Dave, or Foster. We'd love to have them on the show as a regular. So,
yeah, we sure do. I mean, as you said, fairy tales end June. Just like that Packer that played quarterback for your team, Dave. Bears ended for him.
Yep.
Well, subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube.
Get your lick back. If a nigga gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nigga gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat.